One of the things that I've noticed a lot of producers are doing these days is working with bits of hardware or plugins and just kind of running stuff, looping it, creating a mad vibe, but recording the output at the same time. So it's all about those kind of random accidents and kind of spontaneous magic that can come out of those performances. And what I'm going to do is, on this video, I'm going to attempt to emulate that. And I'm using Cubase 8 Pro, and this is the recent version, which is fantastic. And what I'm going to do, first of all, is use an instrument called Synth, and this is from Sonic Charge. It's a fantastic, really eccentric instrument. Just going to drop down here and type in SYN. And Syplant is at the top of the list. They're going to click on Add Track, and this is it. So the concept is really interesting. There's a seed in the middle, and we get branches that grow and radiate outwards. You can see here the musical notes. So we've got C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and so on. And basically you have a separate branch per note in the scale. So essentially we can have a different sound on each musical key. And it's a very, very interesting concept. So that's ready to go. But what I want to do is just come up here. I'm going to put my snap on. The grid is set to bar. Just going to reduce the bar length to 1 bar. Going to double click in the space between the left and the right locators to create a new empty MIDI part. Going to double click on here and we go to the key editor. Now I'm looking for 3 notes. I'm not sure exactly which ones I'm going to choose yet, but I will start with C2. We just heard it playing. And what I want to do is to create a rhythmic pattern. I don't want these to be necessarily sustained notes. So I'm going to run the notes that I'm painting in here through an arpeggiator fairly soon. Let me think about a couple of other notes I want to use. Let's maybe try this. Now this isn't going to sound particularly musical. Okay, just going to come back. It's not designed really to be playing something like that back at the moment. So I'm going to reduce the level. That was incredibly hot, but this is a very complex beast. It's capable of creating huge sounds, and there are 3 playing at once there. So as I said, what I want to do is I want to alternate this. So over here on the left hand side, we've got the MIDI inserts exposed on the expector. Going to drop this down, going to go for the Apache 5. It's a very simple arpeggiator. And what I want to do is to make the notes that I've got in that key editor have a pattern that is going up. Let's have a listen. Let's take it back. I can hear that's happening. Doesn't really sound very good at the moment, but don't worry about it. Let me just bring it up and take a look. So we're going to go into Syplant, and I'm going to take the release back for the moment. So we can hear what's going on. It's a lot more conventional. The other thing I'm going to do just for the moment is turn on my low cut, lift it up, just to protect us from some of that really heavy sub that's going on potentially with the sound. And the other thing I might do just to protect your ears is also just put a little bit of a high cut on there. Let's roll it down to about 18K. So a little safety net. Potentially I should stick a limiter on, but I don't want to do that just yet. So there's the Syplant, okay. Now I'm going to show you a concept that I want to use so that I can record the output of this into an audio track. Because what I'm going to do soon is I'm going to play around with these parameters on the actual instrument in real time. And what I've noticed before is that when I'm doing that in real time, I haven't got record. That's when the magic comes, and I wish that I'd been recording. So what I need to do now is make sure that I don't get caught out. And that's why I'm really doing this right at the very, very beginning. So we've got here a 1 bar loop. I'm just going to duplicate this a few times. It's Control or Command and D, and going to get ourselves a bigger playground for the sound. I can just select all of these, and I can do Command D and so on, Command A, Command D, just very quickly getting a large selection. We might really want to run with this over quite a long distance. So you can see that I'm setting this really quite far out. And just to give me a guide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a ruler track. All right, so I'm going to do this here. I'm going to place this at the very top of the track list, drop it down. I'm going to go to seconds. And now I can clearly see how long this piece is going to last for. So let's go for about 8 bars, 8 minutes. I'm going to duplicate. Okay, something like that will be fine, I think. So we've got all of that going on. The Syplant is just repeating the same 3 notes. And what I need to do in order to get this set up to record is to just create a group track. And there are probably different ways to do this. This is one of the ways potentially. This is the way that I do this. And I'm going to call this record. So it's just set up there. What I'm going to do is on my Syplant track, I've just opened up the channel settings here. On my sends, I'm going to drop it down to go to groups record. Turn it on, and now that's feeding through to groups record all the way up to 0 dB. So we're getting exactly the same level going through. So that's what's happening there. But what I don't want to do is to actually hear that at the moment. Okay, so on that group, what I'm going to do is just drop it down and say no bus. So we're not going to hear that. Right, that's the first part of the setup. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set up a new audio track. So we're going to do this here. And I'm going to call this recorded. And that's here. So what we want to do with this is drop down the inspector. We're going to get the routing in from groups record. So this is feeding the signal through into that audio track. And I'm going to push on the enable here. This is to actually enable it for recording signal in. And I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Just going to expand things over here. Just going to zoom into. And so look what happens. All right, so we're going to push record. So it's literally creating an audio recording of that Syplant. All right, so that's there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play around. All right, and like I said, I don't want to get caught out. I don't want to miss out the opportunity to get some really amazing audio textures that I could put into a track properly. So the other thing to consider first is tempo. Okay, of course we can do time stretching and warping, but I think it's probably a good idea to get your tempo set at the beginning. And so let me take a look at the transport here. So this is set here. What I'm going to do is going to do a fixed tempo of 126. I think that might suit what we're going to come up with. And so that's ready to go there. I'm going to take away the transport. That's Command and F2 or Control F2. And we're really going to focus on this Syplant and going to get it in. So we're ready to go. And just need to make sure that you've got the record enable here. And so I'm just literally going to jam with it. I'm going to take this out. And so I will also explain what's going on as much as I can whilst it's happening. All right. So let's go back. Let's record and let's go on a mad journey. I'm just going to turn my volume down a little bit because I need to hear my voice. So here we go. Let me just show you something. We've got 3 notes that are being triggered. So can you see these little kind of seedlings? So there's the main seed in the middle. Let me expand one of these branches. So a certain note is creating a new texture. I can extend the release. I'm going to turn it up my side of it. Now, check this out. You see this? I can pick this up. So that sounded wicked. Just the subtle, tiny movements create the new textures. Now, I'm just going to stop there because I'm just thinking, wow, you know what? There's a lot of that stuff in there that would be perfect for doing build-ups and breakdowns and stuff like that. And what I'm missing really is a beat. So I tell you what I'm going to do. Let me just get something up. I'm going to create a new track. And I'm going to drop down a Cubase plugin, which is called Groove Agent SE. So it's kind of like a little drum rack in a way. Even though it's got the pads and stuff on it, it doesn't sequence. The sequencing will come elsewhere. I'm going to drop down here and just going to find something that we can use as a very simple backbeat. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, let me just go with techno. Who knows what this is going to sound like. And I'm going to trigger this using a MIDI insert. So this is going to give me the programming beat designer. And let me take this stuff away. We'll work out the actual sounds fairly soon, but I'm just going to program here. So you can see we've got the ability to program notes in. So this is going to be triggering the drums. I'm just going to have a listen and see how this is. Let me take this off and this. So we've got a very typical kind of analog kick drum there. Just going to bring the level down just in case. And I think what I'm looking for is a very simple beat. So just like a kind of offbeat closed hat. And that's going to be going there, here, here, and here. And maybe a clap on the second and the fourth beat. Great. That's just about perfect, I think. So that can keep running in the background. And let me bring the Syplant back on. Get a nice balance. Right, wicked. I'm going to put my recorded stuff here just over somewhere else, and I'm going to mute that. So it's just a little kind of temporary gathering of some sound assets. I'm going to push record on here, and we're going to go for that jam again. All right, let me just get my Syplant up, make sure it's there, and can really focus on this now and try to get stuff in terms of sort of 4-bar or 8-bar sections really. So, okay, back to the beginning, record. One thing I've noticed, some of you guys are probably laughing hysterically now, Danny's done it wrong. So yeah, I didn't have the track selected, did I? So back again. Oh my gosh, check that. That's like the bass line. Kind of regretting taking off that sub now, but you never know. Insane. Amazing how much of a difference the effects make. Playing around the branches now. Man, for those futuristic textures, this stuff's amazing. Now check this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these branches and then start a new seed, click in the middle. And then take another one. So anyway, you get the picture. It's kind of mad and abstract. So let me just get in there. And one of the things that I would do is I get my scissors and I would set stuff up at a interesting kind of interval. And let me zoom in. Let me just show you something. What I would do is maybe go every 4 bars. So you can see that I've got that set up. I'm going to hold down my Alt key and I'm going to click cut with that pair of scissors, and what it does is it creates 4-bar chunks, which is really interesting. So what I could do is I could get in there and start doing things like color coding and having a playing around with these elements. So this is where it does take time. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see what I can do on that front, and in order to do so, I'm going to get myself a bigger set of space here. So you can see my window arrangement. I do this because I like to see the mixer with a full fret, the nice kind of length on the faders there, and also a little bit of arranging, but really it's just no good for this kind of work. So what I want to do is just want to maximize this window, and let's just have a play around. Right, let's take Syplant off. Gonna have a listen, see if we can pick out some really good bits. Okay, now that, I'll tell you what, let's have a look. I'm going to bring this down. Let's have a listen to that with a bit of a repeat on there. Okay, I could feel that working if I get the drums back on. Let me just select this, push P, left and right locators around there. Yep, I like that. Then what I could do is just do something like this. Just going to get some color on the go. See how that one is. Push P. Just going to glue these together as well. Lost my color. Let's come back. Right, 2 secs. Should be back in business now. So you see what's going on. So we're building up a little bit of a structure. Remember, with DJs, you don't have too much variation going on. We do want repetition, and we can pick out some interesting stuff. So I'm going to take something over here. Maybe it will work in a bit of a linear fashion. Little chunks that could be repeated. Who knows? Yeah, not really feeling that one. So let's just come through, just go through exploring these different segments, expanding each time. And that was quite interesting. Do you know what? I think we've got about maybe 20 different tunes that could be capable of building from that one recording, because it did go off on little mad musical journeys. Now that was wicked, actually. I'll tell you what we've got is almost like, I prefer this vibe. But this is what a lot of producers are doing here. They're not sitting down and planning musical extravaganzas with, particular chords and melodies and scales. They're just jamming with bits of electric equipment and coming out of craziness. So this is the virtual version. You've probably seen someone like Kink do some amazing live sets. With these kind of techniques that are chopped up and then rearranged. So some of it's pre-prepared in the studio. So let's have a listen. Yeah, what I want to do is have 3 of those and then that variation after. Okay, so look, like I said, we're ending up with a whole bunch of different tunes here. Just going to pick this up. Oh man, I could go on for hours, and it will literally take me hours to go through this. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that approach. And the main thing here, in terms of Cubase and I guess in terms of any other DAW as well, is the fact that you've got to send a signal out to some other track in order to record it in onto another one. But basically, I used a send signal to a group, and then the group was being used to feed into an audio track. All right, so look up your DAW, see if you can replicate that if you're not using Cubase, and you know, get some crazy instrument like Syplant, which is highly recommended, and just jam with it in real time. Record about, I don't know, 8 minutes or so, and then go through afterwards, pick the best bits, and create some mad crazy tune that you, under normal circumstances, you definitely wouldn't be making.